Hello and welcome to another tutorial in Android Kotlin Firebase advanced programming. In this section, we'll start working a bit more with our resources files. On the left side, as you can see, we have a number of folders: drawable, menu, map, and values. Until now, we were using the strings, which was no more and no less than a section where we can define static data to be referenced from our code. Why do we write it here and not in a different place? For example, I know in the code itself, for a very simple reason. The need we are always interested in having our program, our app, the most organized as possible. And to do that, what we want is to have all the resources in one section. For future work to be done by other people, they can find much easier the place where all the text is stored. Specifically, the string file, it's where we store all the texts. Now, another reason we do that is because it allows us to add many other files, text files, yes, in different, for example, different languages. Okay, if we come here and we go to the app action XML, sorry, a second. Adjust it now, adjust it now. Value resource file. Okay, we went to the values, new value resource file. We are capable of creating, if we create the same file as strings, but we change the text by choosing in the locale option. Okay, well, sorry, locale. We're telling that we want to choose the, for example, language, because this is in English by default. Language, Español, Spanish, okay? Or specify a specific region, yes? Because after we choose this one, we have to define the region itself. We have then kind of Spanish, and we put this Spanish here. What we just did is define a default strings file, which will be will be used when there is no language in the phone, or it doesn't find the language. If it's a different language that we define, it will use this one. And then we define here in a section of the strings where values will be used when the phone is in Spanish, and specifically Spanish from Spain. It's very important to understand that. Now, the idea is to copy this here and paste it here, okay? Right now, both the default and the Spanish one will be the same, exactly the same. Yes? But what we can do is say, instead of, if this is the Spanish, we can change hi to all USA. We can say, okay, if we do this right now, and I execute the app, it will still show, probably, because the phone is in English here, it will show the default one here, okay? But if I go out of the app and I go to the settings and I change the language, okay, that's a good way of testing it. Just let me find where it was. Location, I think it's, no, it's not security location, I've just seen it. Languages, system languages, language and input. If I choose language instead of United States, add a language, and I tell him to add, I'm not sure it's Español, okay, España. So if I do this, and I do this right now, and I change it, and the language changes in all the app, in all the phone, sorry. Now, if I execute the app, which is the one called my class app, which is this one here, now what it will show, well, it's not showing it yet because it's true, I didn't really show it. So let's try it, putting it here. We'll go to the XML of the fragment, let's remember, and let's add the text. So I didn't see that I didn't put it. Let's add the text down here. Put it in the middle of the screen. Okay, in the middle of the screen, and let's put here we have to assign the ID of the large text ID. That's the name of the ID. Remember, this is the ID. We go to copy this and go to the XML and put it in the text section like this. So now it's showing hi to all UCGC students. By the way, you can test it here as well. If I put the Spanish, hola todos, it will change. Also here, we don't have to really change it in the emulator if we don't want to. You can always test stuff here. By default, as you can see, it's English, and it will show this one when it does. So let's execute the app. Now that the phone is in Spanish, probably it will show the text as we just seen it. Hola todos, well, it is sadly it looks there. Let's give it a bit more. Let's put it on 100 distance and let's execute it. Right, so if I go back again to the here and I change the language again, it should change to English. Okay, let's go back, let's execute the app. Okay, my class app, and now it shows this. So as you can see, it is extremely useful to use this like that. Okay, I can also change, for example, let's add a string for the messages that the snack bar shows. For example, snack bar message 1. Okay, not sure what's the problem here. Yeah, well, if you add it to the Spanish one and you didn't add it to the default, it will tell you there is an error, because you always have to have at least the same or more in the default. Okay, now the default is the English one, so I'm gonna say message 1 of the snack bar. Okay, that's an example. Now if I go to the Spanish one, I can say okay, so if I store this, right now I'm not using it anywhere, but if I go to my code, okay, to the first fragment, and you can see here the text, I can change this by putting the r.strings.snackbar string. You will see that I'm accessing the string file from the resources. R represents res, and string represents strings. So if I do this right now and execute the app, what will happen, it depends. If I press button 1 and it's English, it will show the English message of the snack bar. But if I go now to the settings and I change the language to Spanish, now it will show you now it changes here, and if I press here, it will show mensaje del snack bar. Okay, so that's one of the reasons, and maybe one of the important reasons, why we do this exactly what we're doing here. Okay, it's very important that if you do this, you have to also always create, in the values, and you create the value source file. We always put the same name as the files we have, the strings. Okay, remember the same name. And the locale, when you choose, for example, let's choose Catalan from Spain, If I do this, and I choose OK, then now it's not exactly the same. It has, when it's Catalan in Spain, okay, it's the Catalan language in Spain, but we still don't have any language defined in the Catalan section. So we again have to choose this. We put it here, and well, here we know you can write in Catalan whatever message you want. Okay, I don't know, hi. I don't know, whatever. Okay. So the fact is that you have to add as much languages as you want to define in your app, yeah, because mainly the text that we're using here, we may also use later on for buttons, for example. Let's say button 1, high button, for example, and then I can put the same thing. That's a problem. That it tells me that they have to add it to the other ones, okay, and here, and this is the name of the button. But if I use hola button, okay, so the name, I can go to the fragment first, go here, and instead of writing it by hand, you can always write the name of the string button 1 from now on. Sorry, it didn't really make the change. It's not really showing, but whatever. Now on, if I change languages, it should show here. It's not showing it, a small bug that it has, but if I execute that, it will show this one high button. Okay, let me try it. It's not showing it. It's a small error. I think the problem is that it doesn't, probably because it has string. You have to say it has to be written with a string section before. Sorry. So if I do this and now I change to Spanish, hola button, English, hola high BTN. So as you can see, it allows us to define also the text that we're going to put inside the visual elements predefined. Okay, that's it. That's the idea of using strings. The next video will show you how, for example, to add some images, at least in a very, very simple way.